Yeah, good morning, ma. Am I audible? Better? Yeah, good morning. All had breakfast? Yes? All? Others, what happened? Ma'am, why are you asking this? I told you yesterday that you should eat something and come. Getting it, don't sit with empty stomach. Have something because 2.5 hours. It's not a joke. Are you getting, you're not taking a meditation. You're not going to toil yourself, struggle. Study happily. Study in a positive note. Study afresh because morning first class history, getting it. Yeah. So now we are with the introduction of the medieval world, getting it. So as we discussed yesterday, I briefed you about certain concepts about how the medieval world was, because without knowing the background of feudalism, without knowing what exactly happened, as I briefed you in a nutshell, Crusades were there, remember? So have you all brought your atlas? Atlas is there, right? So Crusades were there happening in the world, and with the birth of Islam, getting it, trade underwent a different shift. So getting it, I thought I'll explain because many students were having some doubts. I'll just tell you in a very simple way. Keep it very simple, keep it understandable. Because world history, as I told you, it's very big. We're going to make it small, we customize it and we study. So with the birth of Islam, what happened? The Muslim traders started controlling the entire trading activity. So East and the West, so particularly a country called Arabia. So Arabs controlled everything because Arabs were called as a middlemen between the East and the West. So with the introduction of Islam, what happened? Religious elements also started changing. So the world was only divided into two then. It was Eastern world. So let's take, this is Europe. Let's take, this is Europe. Getting it, ma. So the countries, all the countries are there. So with the Christian world. Now again, when you take Europe here, there's a country called Turkey, a rough diagram. Getting it, the Greco-Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire. So Byzantine Empire becomes Turkey. Getting it? After the fall of Roman Empire, this happened. Then we have Arabia. So when you look at from the deserts of Arabia, in a city called Mecca, Islam was born. 610 AD is the birth of Islam. Getting 610 AD. So we wrote yesterday the fall of Constantinople, 1453. So now what happened? We have the Persian Empire here. See, I'm making it in a rough diagram exactly to make you understand so that I put all of them in the board. So let's take, this is the Persian Empire. And let's take India. Getting a rough diagram to make you understand. Now, what happened here? Islam was born here. Arabs were the first people. Are you getting it? So Islam was born in the deserts of Arabia. Getting it, in a city called Mecca. So now what happened? Arabs started taking Islam as their goal because it is a kind of a very different religion. Getting it, a mix, because Islam is an offshoot of Christianity. Abraham becomes Ibrahim here. Getting it? So we don't want that story. But since Arabs were there, Arabs were middlemen. So all the goods from Europe used to come to Turkey. Byzantine Empire, to make you understand, I've written Turkey here. To Constantinople. So they were Christians. As I told you, Western Roman Empire, Eastern Roman Empire. Pope, Bishop. Getting it? Rome, Constantinople. Hope you're able to connect it. So now what happened? Arabs were the first people to taste Islam. So gradually from Arabia, Islam started moving to Persia. So who were the second converts to Islam? Persians. Getting it? So Arabic was a language, Islam was a religion. Here Persian was a language, Islam was a religion. So now gradually what happened? The Turks started trading with the Arabs because Arabs were middlemen. You look at the map, they were in the center. So goods from Europe will travel via this region, then it will go to Persia, then it will come to India. So when you look at above the head of India, we have Central Asia. Getting it? And by this point of time, when I give you the year, we have a ruler called Harsha ruling North India. When this is all happening, our Harsha is the ruler. Harsha is the last ruler of ancient Indian history. With the death of Harsha, ancient India gets over. So for time being, keep that in mind. So who's there in South India? We have the Chalukyas of Badami. Then this side we have the Pallavas. This side we have the Chalukyas of Badami, Harsha. India is undergoing a very different shift. This is Indian history. But you need to know who was there in India. Now what happened? So the second converts were Persians. So these Turks, when they happened to taste Islam, they liked it. Some Turks who were traders, they liked Islam. Getting a very beautiful religion, they got attracted towards it and they wanted to practice it. So now what happened? But one, the Turks, don't you think the Turks originally were Christians? Christians only, right? Byzantine Empire. But what happened when they tasted Islam? After tasting it, they can't go back because crusades are happening. Are you getting it? So the bishop will not allow them. So automatically what these Turks, the Turks felt insecure. So they asked Arabs, can I stay here? Can we be here? We'll be here itself. I'm putting it simple. Can we be here? Arabs said no. No, we don't want you. Why? Because you don't speak Arabic. You speak only Turkish. Getting it? So we want an Arab, a person who speaks Arab and a Muslim. So Arabs are not allowing the Turks to stay here. So automatically, what is the next choice for the Turks? To go to Persian Empire. So they asked the Persians, can we stay with you? So we are Muslims now. Persians said what? No. We are not giving you entry here. Why? Because you don't speak Persian. So imagine the world itself was divided on linguistic basis only. But the colonial masters tell us what? India, why are you fighting for religion? Why are you getting it? Because we were divided on the linguistic basis. Once you touch your modern India and polity, you will get to know linguistic reorganization of states. Potti Sri Ramulu took a fast unto death. And that is why the state of Andhra Pradesh was born. So people who do not know, don't worry. Some are like, what is ma'am speaking? Don't worry, we will teach you all. I'm just connecting it to tell you because you need to have a connecting mind. When you study something, just apply it and thorough it so that you get to know about the facts. History is going to be the same. Getting it now, what happened? Persians denied admission. They said no, but these Turks who converted themselves into Islam couldn't go back to Turkey. So what was their only way out? These Turks, they came to a land called Central Asia. So I made number 1, number 2. So who's the third people who tasted Islam? The Turks who went to Central Asia. By this point of time, Central Asia was called as a no man's land. Anyone could settle in Central Asia. And what are the countries of Central Asia? It's Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. There's a place called Turkmenistan. So these Turks went and settled there at Turkmenistan. That is why the name Turkmenistan. They settled here and what happened? They started taking Islam. So now can we say there are 2 types of Turks? Christian Turks. So here the language would be Turkish. Religion would be Christianity. Here the language would be Turkish. Language, mother tongue, because Turks have come here. But what would be their religion? Islam. So there are 2 Turks, but which is their hometown? For them, which is their hometown? Don't you think they'll feel bad? Ultimately, I want to go to Tamil Nadu. Are you getting? I've come to Delhi, but my heart yearns where? You are globalized kids. I think you all are born after 1991. So LPG kids. What happened? Look at your reaction, As if, I told you you're not my relatives. Don't stare at me. Are you getting it? So you all were born after 1991, right? Globalized kids, right? So what is the mentality of globalized kids? Kids in the sense globalized people. You want to live anywhere. You can live anywhere in the world. So tomorrow I take you to Japan. Will you live? Korea? China? Yeah, but take our grandparents? No. Kaveri. We cross Narmada? No. Go to Ganga? Yeah, we'll take a holy dip and come. People don't travel that much. Mentality is different. Have you seen elders? They say that they want to stay only in the villages. Many people don't like Delhi. Have you heard? Delhi, many parents and elders don't like Delhi. My parents hate Delhi. So though I tell them, they're like, what is this? You live in a matchbox. Are you getting? But the houses are so small here. Because in South we have at least some space, at least some breathing area. Here you breathe, your neighbor will be looking at you. You open the door, your neighbor's door and your door will hit. So you have to first tell neighbor, please you go, then I'll open. Are you getting? And doors are not fully opened here, half opened. They call it house. Are you getting it? So don't you think life, Bombay? Yeah. So getting my why? Because we are not used to it. So generation changes, culture changes. Getting in mentality also changes. So you people have a very different mentality. Globalized world, you can live wherever you want. You adjust, you accommodate and all. So in those times, see, according to Rousseau, getting it when you go with the concept of enlightenment, getting it. So people were very much attached to the land. So land is something people got attached. Why? Because I stay here. Getting it, I live here. I cultivate here. And the harvest belongs to me. When I grow tomato here, when I get tomato, that land belongs to me. The tomatoes belong to me. So which means that is how the concept of land ownership entered. It's a philosophy. So as I told you, I'm just giving everything in a nutshell. You need not know everything, but at least some basics you should know, right? Because in ancient India, when did land ownership come? When the king, so-called Rajan told the people that you cultivate and you produce. So what man started doing? Oh, I'm producing, so the produce is also mine. The place of produce is also mine. Where I live is also mine. So don't you think the concept of land ownership entered? Which is very simple. So you have a land, I have a land. So initially people were fighting for what? Land. Territories. Territories were the major element for kings to fight. That's why a king would expand. And that is why kings used to fight. Why are battles being fought? Why did Alexander come to India? Expansion. Why did Ghazni come? Wealth. Why did Gori come? Expansion. Why did Babur attack India? Invade. Again, expansion. Babur wanted to expand. And the land, India, you know, such a beautiful land. What do we not have? But the beautiful land in the world is India. The beautiful people, the smart people, Indians. No, yeah, true. Are you getting it? Don't underestimate us. Maybe we do not know. You learn history, you will get to know. Be blessed, be happy that we are born in India. Just take 2 minutes if you're born in North Korea today. Imagine you're born in China. Nothing, nothing. We have everything. Maybe economically we are different, but politically, socially, culturally, we all live in the same boat. You know, we all sail together. Maybe ups and downs are there, as I told you. But you know, be blessed that we are here. Our land has got everything. Your geography teacher will tell you what is not there in India. When Alexander came to India, he said, I want to reach the land of everything. He used the term everything. Geographically, this land has got everything. Culturally, the people are great. The world always says Indians as what? Hospitable people, respectable people, affectionate people, lovable people. Don't you think all these are true? Maybe today all these are hiding inside. Are you getting? But honestly, you touch your heart, all these are somewhere inside the typical Indian mind. It's there inside. Maybe we don't show it out. Maybe we are not told, okay, don't be so good. The world is cruel. Don't eat biscuit when you travel in a train. Have you heard? Are you getting? We are told that. But don't you think we were not like that? Indians are known for their hospitality. So every land has got a culture. So likewise here, and when religion took a toll, religion is something very important. Though we don't touch religion in detail in history. Religion is like an opium, don't you think? When you take religion, we get so much attracted, so much possessed. As someone asked me yesterday, it's a feeling. God is a feel. You can feel God. If you don't feel God, God is not there. So likewise, what happened when they started tasting Islam and a country which was worshipping nature, suddenly when the tenets of Islam entered, they got attracted because such a disciplined religion. So they started liking, this part became Islamized. Getting it? So now what happened? These Central Asians were feeling bad. See, my hometown is that. So getting, but they were not knowing what to do because you have to travel so long to come here. Getting it? So later what happened? Later, in 1453, these Turks, they moved here and they broke which empire? Byzantine Empire. And in 1453, they occupied this land. And what empire was established? The Ottoman Empire. Now you're getting the story? So the people who established Ottoman Empire here, what is the religion? Islam. What language do they speak? Turkish. So don't you think now this belt becomes Islamized? Getting it? Now this belt becomes what? With Christianity. And in Islam, we have a head called the Caliph. The Khalifa, the Caliph. The seat of power is called the Caliphate. See, like how we have all religions. Take any religion in the world. See, all religions are beautiful. Number one. Number two, it's a belief system. Number three, all religions are open for interpretation. I can interpret my Lord Shiva in a different way. I can say my Shiva is your yogi. You can say your Shiva is your destroyer. Don't you think? Or some can say Shiva is Pashupati. Pashupati Mahadev. Some can say, no ma'am, Shiva is a tribe. Some can say Shiva looks like an Agori. Some can say that Shiva is Dakshinamurti. So there are multiple names. You call Rudra, I call Shiva, he calls Mahadev, he calls Ishwar, he calls Parameshwar. How many pet names? Are you getting it? It's God. You call Vishnu. In South we call Tirupati, Balaji, Laddu, temple. Are you getting it? So we don't say Vishnu temple, we say Tirupati Balaji. Have you heard Venkateshwara? So God names changes. My name changes every now and then. You call what? Kartikeya. In South we call it as Murugan. Have you heard? So you call what? Ganesh, Lord Ganesh. In Maharashtra, it's called Vinayak. Deep South, we call Pillayar. Getting it? See how many names, but one God. Beautiful God, same God. So how do I worship my God? I'll say, Lord Shiva, please save me from this batch. So how will you say? Lord Rudra, please save us from ma'am. Are you getting it? So you call Rudra. So your Rudra would come, people of other faith, Christianity and Islam, monotheism, you have only one God. We have polytheism, multiple gods in hand. Are you getting it? Because religion is like that. You believe, you call a God. Before prelims, whom do you worship? Saraswati. Hindus, you worship Saraswati. Muslims, no choice, one God. Christians, one God. Are you getting me? You worship Saraswati. Before prelims, I don't worship Yama. I don't worship Yama, right? I worship Saraswati. Why? Because there is a taboo which is fixed. There is a tradition, right? So we go accordingly. Are you getting? And who made religion? Man. Why? Religion gives you a discipline so that you don't think bad. As I told you yesterday, I go to a temple, I don't think bad. I want good things. I seek something which I want really. And I believe that superpower would give it to me. So this is a feel actually. The same applies with evil spirits also. God and demon, we do not know. There's no proof in history. It's a personal trait what people carry. When we say that Harsha was a Shaivite, Harsha believed in Lord Shiva. Later Harsha got converted to Buddhism. Are you getting? So this is how we study in history. So likewise, people were very much attracted to religion, and this religion was not in a way like how we see it today. That's what I told you. The Islam which was there in the medieval world, the Islam which we see in the modern world, and Islam today in the contemporary world has slightly changed. I'm not talking about the Quran. I'm talking about the way of interpretation. How they see it has changed. That's why you cannot fix a religion telling, ma'am, this is only correct. No, it changes according to time. The Vedas which were written during 1500 BC, today, can I apply Vedas and tell you, come on, let's practice Vedas? No, you can't. Because today we live in a very different world. Vedas cannot be relevant today. Because in Vedas, it cannot be relevant. According to Vedas, education was optional. If you read Rig Veda in detail, you'll know what Vedas have said. Manu Smriti. Are you getting it? So every book changes according to time. So likewise, what happened with time, things started changing. So that is why the Crusades entered. You've written. So really, military campaigns. And how many official crusades were there? 8 official crusades were there. They started fighting so badly. But don't you think, if I'm into a particular religion, I want my religion to grow? We all are like that self-centered thing. I'm not saying bad about other religion, but I want my religion to grow. So with that concept, what happened? Military wars took place. You or me, come on. We all have the tit for tat mentality. Go to LKG classes. Just listen. You stole my rubber, I'll steal your pencil. Don't you think we have that mentality? One small, cheap mentality we had. But with time we grow. With age we grow. Don't you think? Oh, you've taken this, I will take this. Are you getting? We have that mentality, right? So you're fighting with me, so I'll fight with you. You want to put your doctrine inside, I want my doctrine to be spreaded. So they were fighting, and every religion had got something called a head. The head of Christianity was called Pope. The head of Islam was called Caliph. Getting the head of Buddhism later was called Lama, Dalai Lama. So every religion has got something called head. In India, Hinduism, we say Shankaracharya. Getting it? So everyone has got a head. And they have their own election and selection process. Pope, how is he elected? How is he selected? That's different. So likewise, this caliphs. Getting the caliphs took a tool thinking that let us spread Islam. So what was the main aim of caliphs, the Khalifa or the Caliph? It's Islam. So these caliphs, initially they were in a place called Baghdad. Getting it? Later they shifted to Egypt. Later they went to Constantinople. Are you getting it? So they started moving, Baghdad. Then again they were here, Mecca, Medina. Then later they went on to Constantinople. When the Ottoman Empire was established, we call them as Ottoman Turk. Have you heard? The Ottoman Caliph. Getting? So these are the terms. When you read books, don't worry. So when you're stuck somewhere, always I'm there to help you out. So you're stuck somewhere, ma'am, they've written this. What is this? Come, I will explain, but you will understand with the stories, what all I'm sharing, what all I'm making it, putting it simple, try to consolidate it, then read it, you will understand. You will never get stuck in world history, I'm telling you. Because it's all the background. So now what happened? They started fighting. So when they started fighting, what happened? Who won? Who won? The Turks won. That's why we call the Ottoman Empire as one of the powerful empire. People were scared of the empire, don't you think? Because why? And why do we fear a country? Do we fear a country because of economic strength or political strength? We fear a country because of its military. Are you getting it? Military power, plays a very significant role for a country to be what? Number one. Today, why are we looking at North Korea? Military, don't you think? North Korea? The moment we look at North Korea, we're like, hey, come on, we'll be quiet. No, she'll bombard. Are you getting it there? Threatening UN, threatening internal peace. Are you getting it? And some countries are sponsoring it, sponsoring military weapons. Are you getting it? So that's your IR. Leave it. But why that country also have got some hatredness towards each other? So who's our enemy? Indian enemy, India's enemy? Pakistan. So if you know modern India, you know why that happened. Are you getting it? Why are we fighting with China? You need to know the background. So once you know the background, though we want to be friends, we want to be good neighbors, but don't you think situation is not allowing? The geopolitical system is not allowing us to be so. Because world is changing drastically. Minds are changing. Getting it? Leaders are changing. Policies are changing. So that's why a country's policy is determined by a leader. That leader might be a king, might be a ruler, might be a president, might be a prime minister. So it applies everywhere. So because world, and there are 196 countries today. How many countries? 196 countries. Imagine. You need not thorough all of them, but the major players you need to know. So likewise, what happened? This is how Islam entered. So now here what happened? This block. As I told you, Turkey shares border with Europe, Turkey shares border with Asia, and Turkey shares border with Africa. Because the northern part of Africa, we call them as the Arab states. Like, we say Morocco, Libya, Tunisia, I'll show you in the map. They're all called as Arab states. Why? Because Arabs started occupying the northern part of Africa. That's why today Morocco is an Arab state. Libya, the northern part particularly. The southern part is different. So this is a small background which took place. So the world got disturbed. So by 1453, with the fall of Constantinople, we enter into a next phase called the modern world. Now don't you think, whatever we've done in the past, we try to correct it? Are you getting, when you really feel bad, oh, I've done this, I should not do it, I should move further. Now where is these concepts coming? It's coming from Europe. As I told you yesterday, the Renaissance, getting it, the age of reason, getting it, which gave birth to what? Geographical discoveries. Then later what happened with geographical discoveries? The concept of colonialism. With that we have what? And people, why did people come to Asia? People came to trade. Because Asia, that is, East was always rich. West was not rich. West was politically strong, but resources were stagnant. But East has everything. So people get to know why, because they are connected. Islam was one of the reasons for the world to be connected. Because who are traders? Arabs. Who's the middleman? Arab. So when you want to bring your goods here, you need to talk to an Arab. You need to communicate with an Arab. You need to be with him. So the goods are taken to Asia. And all the traders by this point of time, the Chalukyan traders, getting it? The Sangam, Chera Chola Pandya traders, Pallava traders, the North Indian traders, later Rajputs will enter. We have the Rashtrakutas coming, then the Cholas coming here. So all these traders, then we have a very big empire called the Vijayanagar Empire. So when all these Vijayanagar and Bahmani entered, they all started trading. That's why look at Vijayanagar and Bahmani, Islamic trade flourished in India. One of the reasons for Vijayanagar Empire to flourish was the Arab traders talking in terms with whom? The Muslim traders of India. So Muslims became very strong traders here. Because why? The Muslims generally, they knew the language. A Muslim would know Arabic, a Muslim would know Urdu, a Muslim would know Persian. So gradually a Muslim will know his mother tongue. Getting it, so automatically what happened? They became what? Linguists. So automatically, if you go and trade with an Arab, he'll know the language, he'll know the culture, he'll know the religion. So don't you think it's easy for him to trade here than anyone else? Getting it? Because here conservative element was not here. South was not having that conservative element. They started moving. And that is why, this region started becoming a coastal town during this period. I'm just connecting it with India so that you get a background of how things were. Once you touch this separately, you will clearly understand of what I've taught. Then trade started picking up. So this belt became a strong belt. Now how to break them? How will you break them? They're strong warriors. They're very much into Islam. They're conservatives. Because are you getting? Because Islam has got that 5 tenets. Allah, Namaz, Zakat, Roza, Hajj. So the tenets are very much, they don't alter. Are you getting? They don't interpret. They're like a blinkered horse. No, it is like this. I move on like this. I encourage this. So how to break this conservatism? Now Europe is taking a tool in hand called Renaissance. Are you getting it? So you need to know why Renaissance. Getting because what? Rebirth. So initially I used to paint very small element. Now I'm painting what? Great things. Leonardo da Vinci. Getting it? Now what happened? Initially I used to build a small palace. King used to live in small palace. Now he's king. So I make big palace. So architecture developed, painting developed. Initially I never write anything. I write about only the king. I write only about the court record. Now what do I write? I write about science. I write about literature. I write about philosophies. Getting it? And these philosophies make you creative. I told you yesterday, idealistic philosophy, realistic philosophy. So man starts thinking. And the more and more you think, the more and more you are a creator. And when you start creating, ideas are born. And when your ideas are working, don't you think, implemented, it becomes a success. So this is how Europe is moving. So Europe wanted to break this structure. Leave India. We were in our old, we were so beautiful, nice, good people. We were not bothered about any of them. World was doing something. We were in our own style. Getting in our political pattern was something different now. So this is what exactly happened. And gradually, when it entered as a positive note, it turned slightly negative. Where the hunt for colonies, which gradually gave birth to imperialism. Since trade is a basic element, what happened? The concept of mercantilism. So what is mercantilism? Merchant. See, mercantilism is a concept which was introduced by Britain. So which means they wanted everything to be in the matter of trade. So I want to be a big time trader. I will control all your markets and I will get all the benefits from your goods. Getting it in simple note? This is mercantilism. So gradually, what happened? This concept of mercantilism gave birth to what? Capitalism. Are you getting it? Giving importance. What is capital? The term capital means money. So I give importance to money. Profit earning is my only goal. Come what may. I'm not bothered about others. It's me. It's my growth. It's my money. Getting it? It has got a positive connotation also. Capitalism has got a negative connotation also. It's both. As I told you, you can interpret. If you ask Britain, they'll say colonialism is good. If you ask us, colonialism is bad. But there's something called path of dharma. You can't go and exploit others for your own benefit use, which means colonialism is negative. Are you getting it? So ultimately, that's what ethics. Some would say that is his ethics. Some would say this is my ethics. But ultimately, there's something called justice. So we go on that path. On that path, we call colonialism as what? A negative thing. So this is what happened in Europe. So when Europe is going on with this, now what happened? Europe is growing bigger. Now what happened? There was a country called Britain. So this Britain, it started producing more towards agriculture. When agricultural production was more, there was a revolution which took place in Britain called the Agrarian Revolution. I produce only 10 bags of tomato. Now the crown is telling me, the king is telling me, Kritika, produce 100 bags. I have a land, I have the capacity, and when I produce 100 bags, the crown will give me what? Money. Won't I? Because we humans are naturally what? We want more. Man is a selfish animal. We want more. So initially my capacity was only 10 bags. Now I'm going to produce 100 bags. And who's telling me to produce 100 bags? The crown. And when the crown says, when I give 100 bags, what will the crown do? Crown is the king, the ruler. Because Britain has got what? Even queen. So are you getting? That's why we call it as a crown's rule. So the moment what happened, the king or the queen, the crown says that produce more, they will trade it. So automatically I will get profit. So my life will be good. So that is called what? Agrarian Revolution. Because they know only agriculture. They knew only agriculture. They didn't know anything else. So Britain started tasting this. When Britain started producing more, don't you think automatically when you produce more, you need to maintain that production? So now what is Britain thinking? Okay, why can't we do something else? Why can't we make this agrarian revolution into industrial revolution? So initially what people would do, say for example, I go to the agricultural land, with my hand, I used to pluck cotton. Getting it? I used to pluck cotton. So the moment I pluck cotton, I used to come back to my home, cottage industry. Then I used to separate the seeds and cotton from my hand. Then I used to take that cotton, I used to make threads. Don't you think you can make threads with hand? So I make cotton threads. Then what do? I will start connecting all the threads. Then I make a fabric. I make a cloth with my hand. How long will it take for me to do that? Don't you think it will take a lot of time for me to do that? Because I have to go to the land, I have to pluck it, I have to separate the seed, then I have to make thread. And how will the thread be? Soft or hard? Handmade. It will be hard. So one will be smaller, one would be bigger. So the threads will be different. Getting, but imagine we all do that, everything by hand. So what is Britain thinking? Why can't this hand be converted into a machine? Why can't the handmade goods be converted into machine-made goods? Why can't the cottage industry become a factory? Why can't a small scale become a large scale? Why can't you being in rural place or rural, setup, why can't you shift to urbanization? Why can't you come to city? So when Britain started thinking about all of them, gradually there was a shift, slow shift, small scale to large scale. Are you getting it? Hand to machine, rural to urban. Are you getting cottage to factory? This shift which took place in 1750 is the first topic of a syllabus called the Industrial Revolution. To study this topic, we need to know this background. Else you will not know. All of a sudden man did not think about machine. When you want to produce more, imagine humans are more. Are you getting, when human population is more, the demand is always more. And for demand and supply should be balanced. If it is not there, and don't you think when humans are slow, where do I rely upon? Machine. So that is why man started inventing machine. So what is Industrial Revolution? It is nothing but age of machines. So in the moment machines entered, so don't think machines are the big factory machines, nothing. In history, anything which has got a nut and bolt is a machine. Machine, it has got a nut and bolt. Fan, I'm feeling so hot, I come switch on the fan. So when fan runs, fan is a machine. Are you getting it? I go home. So don't think my machine is some, keep it simple. Today, we live in a very different world to see machine. So I want to make chutney at home. I just go home. I just take a mixie. I just grate all my coconut. I get what? That's a machine. Mixie is a machine. You want to wash your clothes. Doing it in hand. Now you have a machine. Just put your clothes. Switch on the button. Done. So what is that? A machine. So don't you think machine makes your life easy? Machine makes your life comfortable? Machine gives you what? A kind of a sophistication. Are you getting? Fan is a machine. Mixie is a machine. Grinder is a machine. Getting it? And you all have one in your hand. You all one in your hand. Mobile phone, according to history. So today we live in the 4th stage of Industrial Revolution today. But I'm going to teach you the 1st stage of Industrial Revolution. So it is a machine. It makes life very easy. It makes life comfortable. And the moment we are used to machine, what happens? You settle. Are you getting it? And there's a demand for these machines. So this is what happened in Europe. And which year did Industrial Revolution start? 1750 approximately. So our syllabus starts here only. So this is what slowly we go. Clear? So shall we write? I think we have to write about the modern world. Yeah, take down. I asked you to make a heading. Europe. Yeah, this Europe in modern times. 1453 to 1750 is the initial break. So under that, just start writing. I think everyone writing? Yeah. Europe. Europe, start writing. Europe. With the spread of Islam. Europe, with the spread of Islam, decided. Europe, with the spread of Islam, decided to engage in more trading activities. Europe, with the spread of Islam, decided to engage in more trade activities or trading activities. Trade activities. There were many new developments which took, continue. There were many new developments. There were many new developments which took place in Europe. There were many new developments which took place in Europe. Which were, number 1, Renaissance. That's your heading. Which were, number 1, Renaissance. Yeah. Under that, underline Renaissance, that will be in the first point. You make it 1, you make it A, you make a star, however you want, under that. The term Renaissance means rebirth. The term Renaissance means rebirth. Yeah, rebirth. It was also a revival of, Renaissance mean, it was also a revival of the classical language and learning. It was also a revival of the classical language and learning. Classical language and learning, where great intellectual thought process entered. Where great intellectual thought process entered. Yeah. This Renaissance was born, this Renaissance, the concept, this Renaissance was born at Italy. So underline Italy. Italy gave birth to Renaissance. This Renaissance was born at Italy, and it created interest in the classical Greco-Roman literature, because Italy, it created interest in the classical Greco-Roman literature. Underline this. Yeah, it created interest in the classical Greco-Roman literature. So Greeks were Romans, Romans were Greek. We call them as Greco-Romans. So it created interest in classical Greco-Roman literature. Because why? It was born where? Italy. So Italians, we call them as what? Greco-Romans. Because Greece was a part of Italy. Yeah, continue, full stop. It also encouraged, Renaissance, it also encouraged cultural exploration. It also encouraged cultural exploration, where new ideas were born. It also encouraged cultural exploration, where new ideas were born. New ideas were born. Literature, architecture, paintings, literature, architecture, paintings, sculpture, statue making. So literature, architecture, painting, sculpture, and classical language developed through Renaissance. And classical language developed through Renaissance. Yeah. Renaissance. Yeah. Europe began to develop. Continue, ma. Europe began to develop intellectually. Europe began to develop intellectually. Began to develop intellectually. With the entry of Renaissance, the following developments took place. With the entry of Renaissance, the following developments took place, which were number one. The following developments took place. So with Renaissance, what happened? The following development took place, which were number one, humanism. So it's a subheading under Renaissance. So the following developments took place. Number one, humanism. I told you man started giving more importance to human value, human system. Yeah. So humanism, humanism. Ism means doctrine. So the doctrine, ism, capitalism, communism, socialism, Buddhism, Jainism. So this means doctrine. So a doctrine which is speaking about whom? Human. Because humans, we all have something called what? Values. And these values are something which we get it naturally. Certain thing we inculcate it with practice. So if someone is in pain, you see someone in pain, what will you do? Yeah? Take selfie? What will you do? You take care of him, help him, then you give medicine. Okay, it's an emotional pain. You see someone suffering in an emotional pain. You'll help him. First thing, you'll go talk to him, right? Suddenly, you'll not go take crocin. Are you getting it? So what will you do? First, you'll go ask him, what happened? Are you fine? Are we doing it today? Are we doing it today? Yes? Really? So I'll see. 15 classes, I'll see. Who's going to do what? Getting it? So are you getting it? We have it, maybe we don't do it. Maybe we want to do it, maybe someone is telling don't do it. Maybe we are scared whether I do it, something will happen to me, then someone should do humanism to me. Are you getting it? So today we have multiple elements. This concept started coming. And these values encourage, why? Because of Renaissance. So what? Touching the human mind, helping each other and allowing each other to grow. That is humanism. Getting under this. The term humanism. Is right? The term humanism entered modern Europe. The term humanism entered modern Europe during Renaissance. Entered modern Europe during Renaissance. It was a rationalist outlook. It was a rationalist outlook or a system of. It was a rationalist outlook, underline rationalist outlook, or a system of attaching main importance to, human and his values. There were many philosophers. Continue. Human and his values, full stop. There were many philosophers who encouraged humanism. Many philosophers who encouraged humanism and mentioned that there were many philosophers who encouraged humanism and mentioned that a rational outlook was necessary. There were many philosophers who encouraged humanism and mentioned that a rational outlook was necessary than religion and God. A rational element was necessary or outlook was necessary than religion and God. So gradually, religion had a setback. Religion had a setback. Religion became secondary. Religion had a setback and human values. Religion had a setback and human values began to develop. Number 2, development in literature and arts. That's the second one where Renaissance gave birth to. Development in literature. I'm writing short forms. Write literature, Literature. Development in literature and arts. So Renaissance gave birth to humanism. Renaissance gave birth to development in literature and art. Under that. With the growth of Renaissance, many scholars like Dante, Martin Luther. So with Renaissance, many scholars like Dante. Pronunciation is Dante, but we write it as D-A-N-T. Dante, Martin Luther, etc. Promoted the practice of one's own vernacular language. Promoted the practice of one's own vernacular language. Which resulted in promotion of one's own vernacular language, which resulted in the birth of national vernacular literatures. These experts also encouraged to develop art forms. These experts also encouraged to develop art forms of their own land. Encouraged art forms of their own land. Their own land. This again resulted in the growth of paintings, or the development, we'll put it. This again resulted in the development of paintings. Painters like Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael. Yeah? What happened? So painters like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael introduced painters like Vinci, Angelo, Raphael. What happened? There's some disturbance. All fine? All fine. But you have to be a little bit faster. I could see you people are very slow. Are you getting it? After 2 to 3 classes, it will be like catch me if you can. We have to be a little bit faster. I know it's first time after many years or months you're writing, but I could see your batch is kind of slow. And I could see I'm also slow. I'm like, I used to declare like Akbar was born in 1542 at Amarkot. I used to dictate like this. So, you have to be a little bit faster. Don't sit. No. Sit straight. Be fast. Take it. Concentrate. Don't talk to each other, else you'll miss the points. Because I don't repeat it. I have only the points with me. I'm just dictating so that you cut. I'll also get cut in between. So make sure you're alert, active, right? Little bit fast. Train yourself to make it. Push yourself every day so that you're faster. Because your mains, one question, you have to complete it in 8 minutes. Are you getting? You have to complete it in 8 minutes. That comes with practice only. Little bit faster today. Tomorrow we'll go a little bit faster. Then we'll move. Getting it? So painters like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo and Raphael. Yeah. Created a new pattern. In the art forms. Full stop. Gigantic constructions. Gigantic. Gigantic. Gigantic constructions, great paintings, gigantic constructions, great paintings, and promotion of literature. Gigantic paintings, constructions, great paintings, and promotion of literature was seen throughout Europe. So Renaissance did this. The third one, development in science. Third point, development in science. What happened in science? Because science will give birth to geographical discoveries. Yeah, development in science. That's your heading under that. Renaissance contributed in the development of Renaissance. Learn the spelling, fast. Write it one time, second time you have to write it by yourself. Renaissance contributed in the development of scientific temperament in Europe. In the development of scientific temperament in Europe. This later marked with the beginning of an advancement. This later marked with the beginning of an advancement in the field of mathematics, astronomy, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, astronomy, physics, chemistry, biology, and geography. Gradually, Gradually, Europe turned. Gradually, Europe turned into a educational hub. Educational hub, HUB. Europe turned into an educational hub. Yeah. Man began to apply science wherever he went. Man began to apply science wherever he went. So, scientific knowledge developed. Man began to apply science wherever he went. So, scientific knowledge developed. Scientific knowledge developed. Yeah. This gradually gave birth to the age of reason. It gradually gave birth to the age of reason. Birth to the age of reason. So clear? This is all. We are seeing it under the topic called Renaissance. So we are done with this. Now take a fresh page. So we're just going to enter the modern world. Just make a small heading. The fall of Constantinople. Because what bracket you've taken for modern? Where did you take it? 1453. Remember, you've taken the bracket. 1453 to 1750. So we'll just see what happened with Constantinople. If you know this, Industrial Revolution, you will not get a doubt. Why are we not writing Turkey? Well, what happened here? So that's a small side heading. Make a heading. Take a fresh page. The fall of Constantinople. Under that. With the birth of Islam. With the birth of Islam. The birth of Islam. Europe, with the birth of Islam, Europe had a setback initially. With the birth of Islam, Europe had a setback initially. And her trading activities, Europe had a setback initially, and her trading activities, her means Europe, trading activities gradually began to decline. Gradually began to decline. The Turks who settled in Central Asia, I told you that story, remember? The Turks in Central Asia to occupy Constantinople. The Turks who settled at Central Asia decided to occupy Constantinople. So, they, under the leadership of Mehmed III, that's their ruler, so they, Ottoman Turks, under the leadership of Mehmed III, in 1453, occupied Constantinople. So they, under the leadership of Mehmed III, in 1453, occupied Constantinople. Clear? Getting I told you this story. This one. So which year did they occupy? 1453. From here, they occupied Constantinople. This incident is called as the fall of the Constantinople. This incident is called as the fall of Constantinople. Yeah. The Ottoman expansion into Eastern Europe. The Ottoman expansion into Eastern Europe. The Ottoman expansion into Eastern Europe was witnessed, and they began to control, the entire trading activities. They began to control the entire trading activities. Europe decided to find an alternative. Europe decided to find an alternative with which with which the age of geographical discoveries entered. With the age of geographical discoveries entered. Britain, B-R-I-T-I, Britain, Spain, Portugal, and Italy encouraged geographical discoveries. Yeah. Spain and Portugal were the key masters. Of the age of discoveries. Many new lands were discovered. Sea voyages were established. Many new lands were discovered, sea voyages were discovered. So new lands, America, 1492. So are you getting it? 1453, fall of Constantinople. Columbus discovered America in 1491. We'll touch that when I teach you American Revolution. I told you whenever we do a country, we'll start with the background only. When did Vasco da Gama come to India? 1498. Fall of Constantinople, 1453. So are you getting the connection? So can we say fall of Constantinople is one of the reasons for geographical discovery? Yes, because Europe had no other option. They're controlling everything. Ottoman Turks are controlling everything. They're not allowing. So what happened? Europe is deciding, let me take a route here. Sea voyages or go find discovery. Now what happened? People are getting to know with scientific advancement. No, the world is round. Copernicus gave a theory. The world might be not flat, round. So initially when Galileo was assassinated, later people are thinking, why can't the world be round? You can circumnavigate. See, in one line we've written all. You need not write all this there. That is for optional students, not for you. Getting there, we're going to write what is that. One line we write. What all I spoke to you there in optionals we write. Here you need not. Getting just one, but just get the understanding. What all happened. So automatically what happened? Spain and Portugal. See, it's not Britain initially. There was a king called Henry. Henry the navigator. So Henry encouraged all the Portuguese traders, telling go find something and come. Go, I'll give you money. Go. So automatically what happened? Everyone, the king encouraged trade. The king encouraged what? Exploration. So that's why Columbus met the king. And Columbus was given incentive. So with those incentive, Columbus said, I will find a sea route to India. So Columbus thought the world is round. So imagine the world is round. So from here, Lisbon, if Columbus come towards the west, don't you think you can come to India here? World is round, ma. Are you getting it? So when you go like this side, automatically what happened? You will come here. You will come somewhere to Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu. That is what Columbus thought. I will find a sea route to India. So India was a hub of spices and what? Resources. So everyone wanted to come to India. Why? You can't take the land route. If you take the land route, country, toll tax, and your life is also not secured here. You will not know what will happen. Crusades are happening. People kill each other. Highway robbery is there. Snatching of goods is there. Life was not safe and secure here. Multiple tiny countries were here. So land was very difficult to travel. Sea was easy. And the world predominantly is covered by waters. So people now knew the Pacific. People now knew the Atlantic. People now knew the Indian Ocean. That's what we've written. Geographical knowledge. Astronomy is coming. So people are getting to know about telescope. Are you getting it? Galileo had a telescope. That was a very normal, primitive way of telescope. Later with that, they started advancing. So every development is coming. Physics is developing. You've written chemistry, astronomy. People are talking about planets. People are talking about Milky Way. People are talking about everything. So all that, with astronomy, things are all developing. And don't you think with geography, you'll learn navigation? The art of navigation, travel. I need to travel on high sea. So automatically when I want to travel on sea, don't you think shipbuilding will enter? Who will make ship? Someone sitting in Lisbon will make ship. So that I move on. Then I need to anchor it. I need a crew member. So don't you think I create employment opportunity? Are you getting? So everyone are moving. So Europe is seeing this something new. This was not there in medieval world. For the first time, people are saying, okay, I'm going on a voyage. Voyage, the concept of voyage became very popular. Everyone started moving. So a big team is going, and who's sponsoring all of them? Countries are. So this is exactly started. So clear? Where did you stop the last line? Give me. Yeah. So many new lands were discovered. Sea voyages were set for new land discoveries. Yeah. Portugal or Portuguese? Portugal. Portugal was a pioneer. Pioneer. Portugal was the pioneer in all the voyages. In all the voyages which began during this period. All the voyages which began during this period. It also encouraged the age of reason. It also encouraged the age of reason and agricultural revolutions. And agricultural revolutions took place in Europe. And agricultural revolution took place in Europe. It took place in Europe. Clear? So this is about a small gist about the fall of Constantinople. This small topics we'll do. Now make a next small side heading. Mercantilism. These are small ones I'm making you understand, so I give you. So tomorrow when we study mercantilism, don't get a doubt. What is mercantilism? Yeah. Mercantilism, merchant, business. Yeah. That. The term mercantilism was based on the principle of wealth. It was initiated by mercantilism. It was initiated by Britain. Where a country's capital was initiated for the growth of business and its allied sectors. A country's capital was initiated for the growth of business and its allied sectors. Mercantilism would encourage capital. Local market and the supply of goods. Its main aim was to protect the industrial owners. So, its main aim was to protect the industrial owners. People, industry means small one. Industrial owners. So, the term mercantile capitalism entered. Put it in single quotes, underline. So, it's promoting only industrial owner. So, the term mercantile capitalism entered. It became an attractive concept. In Europe. Where gradually many countries began to adopt it. Yeah. The goods produced in a particular country, the goods produced in a particular country would be sold on a higher price. Goods produced in a particular country would be sold on a higher price as profit was the motive, would be sold on a higher price as profit was the motive of mercantilism. Are you getting it, ma? So as profit was a motive of mercantilism. Thus, according to many scholars, mercantilism, mercantilism is a precursor. According to many scholars, mercantilism is a precursor. What is precursor? Prelude, before. Mercantilism is a precursor to capitalism. Which came first? Mercantilism or capitalism? Mercantilism. That's what. Mercantilism is a precursor to first merchant, right? Then only all then will come where? Capitalism. Mercantilism is a precursor to capitalism. Today, modern historians are saying capitalism is a precursor to mercantilism. That's why people get confused. I'm not teaching you today's history. I'm teaching you world history. And that too, we say modern world history. But don't you think that's an old world history only? Are you getting it? So this is a interpretation. Getting it, ma? So what is precursor in history, world history? Mercantilism is a precursor to capitalism. So what is the only aim of mercantilism? Profit. Money, money, money. I'll earn, Kritika will earn, Kritika will only earn. I will sell all my goods saying 1,000 rupee, 10,000 rupee. But my investment will be only 10 rupee. Are you getting it? I'm not bothered about anything. I suck the blood of you till the last drop of blood is there with you. So can we say Britishers? Mercantile policy, mercantilism. It's only pure business. So business should have some ethics. But here, do they have it? No, because that's first time they're seeing. Geographical discovery, first time they're seeing. Oh, medieval world, Islam, you're dominating. Arabs, Turks, you're dominating. I'm going to break everything. So Europe is coming up with this. Getting this is mercantilism. Now the next side heading, a small concept, capitalism. What is capitalism? Underline, ma. Capitalism. The term capital is associated with wealth. Capital means money, wealth. The term capitalism is associated with wealth. It is an economic system. Capitalism, it is an economic system. Underline wealth, underline economic system. It is an economic system. It is an economic system characterized by private ownership. It is an economic system characterized by private ownership. So underline ownership, production, private ownership of the means of production, particularly in means of production, particularly in the industrial sector, where the laborers were paid only wages, no salary, where the laborers paid only wages. The base of capitalism was private property rights. The base of capitalism was private property rights. Underline private property, not public property. The base of bedrock of capitalism. The base of capitalism was private property rights. Underline that. Underline that point. The base of capitalism was private property rights. Underline from the base. The base of capitalism was private property rights. Capitalism aimed at profit making. Capitalism aimed at profit making and its only desire was, capitalism aimed at profit making and its only desire was to earn profits through business. Its only desire was to earn profits through business. Through business. This concept largely influenced Europe. This concept largely influenced Europe. And many countries began to adopt it. Many countries began to adopt it and became rich nations. Many countries began to adopt it and became rich nations. So now read both of them together. Take 2 minutes and read. Just give a read, capitalism and mercantilism. UPSC is not going to make you ask you this. They're not going to ask you write capitalism. But without knowing this, throughout our history classes, we'll be touching mercantilism, capitalism, mercantilism. So you should know. Take 2 minutes to read it together. Pardon? That is PYQ. I'm your world history mains teacher. Yeah, in PYQ it's there. Because for modern India, you need to know capitalism. You need to know mercantilism. No, world history we don't have it in main. That was your current affairs part. Economic concept. Don't you think this will apply in economics also? In economics, you will study mercantile policy. You will study capitalism. That is linked with economic. This is the political part. Next point, shall we go? Next side heading would be colonialism. These are some small side headings. Learn them. Yeah. Yeah, shall we go? With the age of geographical discovery, people started exploring countries, islands. So with the age of geographical discoveries, countries began to, with the age of geographical discoveries, European countries, with the age of geographical discoveries, European countries began to discover new lands and settle in new nations. Began to discover new lands and settle in new nations. The nation which a European power settled, was predominantly weak politically. Nation in which the European power settled was predominantly weak. The nation in which the European power settled was predominantly weak. So this European power, it could be anyone. So this European power began to exploit the nation. So this European power began to exploit the nation economically. The economic benefits were the prime reason. For colonialism. The economic benefits were the prime reason for colonialism. Gradually, colonialism resulted in control of the political, economic and the social life. Gradually, colonialism resulted in the control of the economic, political and the social life of the controlled nation. Of the controlled nation. Now the territory dominated by the European power. Now the territory dominated by the European power would be called a colony. Now the territory dominated by the European power would be called, W-O-U-L-D, would be called a colony. And the country which controlled the colony would be called the mother country. Have you heard it? The country which controlled the colony would be called the mother nation or the mother country. Now you get to know what's a colony, what's a mother country. Britain was our mother country. We were a colony. So they'll come, they'll see, they will take economy first, then polity. They came for pepper. Then they later took the Diwani rights of Bengal. Getting it? Later they will alter the social structure. So Bengal became a colony. Britain became the mother country. Slowly they'll come. It's not like suddenly I'll come and thrash. Slowly they'll come. This is what a simple version of colonialism I've given you. So the mother country, it could be any. I'm not writing Britain because France colonized. Getting Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia was a colony of France. Getting Latin America, all the South America was a colony of Spain and Portugal. We were a colony of Britain. Getting Ethiopia, Ethiopia, Africa, was a part of a colony of Italy. Getting it? So all European powers colonized. Some way or the other, they wanted resources. So that's what is colonialism. So it was an economic concept. So clear with colonialism? So in simple terms, I used to say, to make you travel overseas, you have to travel overseas. Occupy a nation, take the economic control. Many students will ask me, but why not? We always have a pride moment, We have a pride moment to tell that India has never ever colonized. India has never ever colonized. Once you do your ancient, medieval, modern history, you will know. So when I say this, people would say, ma'am, Ashoka went to Sri Lanka, Rajaraja Chola went to Malaysia, Rajaraja Chola went to Indonesia, he also travelled overseas, Ashoka also travelled overseas because Ashoka occupied Sri Lanka. Anuradhapura, Jaffna, northern part of Sri Lanka was under Ashoka's control, which means you travel overseas only. Rajaraja Chola went and occupied Malaysia, Singapore and all of them. Isn't it colonialism? But Ashoka and Rajaraja did not exploit. They didn't economically exploit those land. So what is colonialism coming with the package? Exploitation. I come all the way from Tamil Nadu to Delhi. Now, I'm beating you all. Then I'll pluck all your notebooks. I'll take all your spectacles, your mobile phone, and I'll tell you be quiet. So you can't do anything. Then politically I'll control. You should speak Tamil only. Are you getting it? Economic, political, then I alter your social structure. You are weak, so you will not say anything to me because I'm strong. So you are called a colony, your land. I'm called a mother. So this is what mother exploits the child. See, look at the term. Mother country. They should have put some other term. See, certain terms are Europeanized. Still today we follow it, we adopt it. Are you getting it? Have you seen the aircraft? If you travel in an aircraft, do you see VT? Have you seen VT? All the aircraft will have VT. What's that VT? Yeah, Viceroy's territory, Victoria's territory became Viceroy's territory. Do we have Viceroy even today? But still we write it. Legacy continues. I told you about the law field, the court. Don't you think still we have something? The names, Cook's Island. Are you getting Adams? But we still write Palk Strait. But today we are changing the name. Are you getting it? Today we are changing the name. We are like trying to make it Indianized. But still some elements are always there. That European model is still seen somewhere. The name of the colleges, the name of the... Because our pattern is a London school of pattern. London school of education. That pattern only came. When Macaulay drafted our education system, Macaulay's minutes was what? London pattern. Then later Wood's dispatch, London pattern. Getting it? So everyone. Later Hunter Commission, London pattern. Because why? Who was the mother country? Britain. Britain was a mother country. So that pattern continues. It will take time. Maybe today the government is trying to take it out. So good or bad, we are not entering into that. Are you getting it? Debates will always be debates only. Get it? But finally, colonialism is this only. That is why we always say India has never ever colonized. So don't apply this with India. And we always take a pride moment in that statement because we never exploited anyone economically. The next concept would be imperialism. Next one, imperialism. Under that. Yeah. It was imperialism. It was an ability of a nation. It was an ability of a nation to exert its influence, exert, E-X-E-R-T, to exert its influence beyond its border, exert its influence beyond its border and involves in military force. Involves in military force. So what do you use in imperialism? Military. I give one in your head. Getting it? Use military force. The nation establishes full economic and political control. The nation establishes full economic and political control over the colony. The nation establishes full political and economic control over the colony, directly or indirectly. Yeah. It could be exerted in multiple manners. It could be exerted in multiple manners like threat. It could be exerted in multiple manners like threat, conquest. Threat, conquest, or cultural hegemony. The primary goal of imperialism was put it in single quotes, underline, empire building. The primary goal of imperialism was empire building. I build an empire. Goal was empire building. Getting it? So Britain, where our imperial master? Don't you think after the revolt of 1857, Britain became our imperial master? Are you getting it? The concept of imperialism came only after the revolt. But the concept of colony in India came after Buxar. Battle of Buxar? After that. So are you getting the difference, ma? So it will all slowly come. Because after revolt of 1857, how did Britain call India? British India. Are you getting? We call it as British India because we were a part of their British territory. Though the land is all separate. We are in Asia, they are in Europe. So this is what is imperialism. I've done with the background. We are done. Any doubts? Anything background? Now read this. What all you've written. I think you've written some 4 pages yesterday and today. How many you've written? Okay, somewhere 4 pages or 5 pages or according to your handwriting. This is your base for your world history. If you know this, the topics will easily move on. Now we enter into our first chapter of our syllabus. Getting it? That is the Industrial Revolution. Make a heading, number 1. Take a fresh page. So what is the year I gave you? 1750. It comes to an end in 1850. You need to put this in your head. Getting it? So how many years? 100 years. A century? Getting it, ma? So this is the Industrial Revolution, stage 1. You can put it like this. The first stage of first stage. Today we are in the 4th stage of Industrial Revolution, robotics. mobile advancement, smartphone. We are today in the fourth stage, that is space. Are you getting it? Missiles and all are moving, nut and bolt, industry. So industrial revolution, under this, just put a hyphen and write, industrial revolution is nothing but the age of machines. Age of machine. This is your introduction. So I've given you the introduction, the heading. I've made you write the year. So don't forget the year. Bracket is important. All the topic, we're going to go with the bracket. Clear? So now listen. As I told you before, listen. This is the first chapter. And once I discuss this topic, then I'll tell you the previous year question. We did have a question. There are 3 things you need to know in this chapter. Getting 3 things are there. What are the reasons for IR? I call this as IR. Getting it? Not international relation. My IR is industrial revolution only. So getting it? So what are the reasons for industrial revolution? Why industrial revolution was born? What made industrial revolution to happen? So reasons of industrial revolution. The second one would be, why in Britain? Why in Britain? Why did industrial revolution? Because industrial revolution was born in a country called Britain. It was not born in France. It was not born in Belgium. No Spain, no Portugal, no Italy, no Prussia, no Germany, nothing. It was born only in a country called what? Britain. Get it? So the reason, we have 10 points. 10 points. What were the reasons for industrial revolution to be born in Britain? You write all the 10 points, 10 mark is yours. That was one previous year PYQ. So you should know it. The next one, revolution in the field of. Revolution in the field of. Field of. Where did industrial revolution develop? So there are 4 fields. I'm going to teach it. I'll touch it. Then the last one, positives and negatives of industrial revolution. We call this as what? Significance, or you can call it as impact of IR. So though generally UPSC will not ask you negative. UPSC will not ask you negative impact, but I will teach you negative impact because you should know. What are the negatives? Because always there's something called pros and cons. You make an industry, imagine a machine is working now. So initially my hand, we all used to work in hand. Now a machine is working. So don't you think we'll all be unemployed? Unemployment is one of the, so can we say unemployment will be negative? Are you getting it? Raw materials. The mother country wanted raw material. Her industries need to run. So the country wants raw material, but she doesn't have. So where will she go? Exploit colony. Or either she'll hunt for colony or she will exploit her existing colony. So can we say colonialism is something negative? Are you getting it? So I want a job. So what happened? I told you industrial revolution is a shift from rural to urban. I want a job. So I leave my village. I go where? City. When I go to city, don't you think I don't live there like how I lived in a village? So are you getting it? That's called migration. So migration may be positive. Urbanization may be positive. But with growth of more cities, don't you think the concept of slums will come? So slum is a negative point. Are you getting it? I work continuously in the factory. My health is not good. So don't you think that's negative? What if I work in a chemical factory for 14 hours? Hazardous industry. What will happen to me? Are you getting it? No time, no family time, no me time, no we time, no our time, no time. Are you getting it? So automatically what happened? I lose my creativity. I lose my health. See, necessity is the mother of invention. I want something, you create. You want something, I create. And that is what we always call it as demand. See, when I was in class 8 in Tamil Nadu, getting it? my father has a vessel shop. You know, he's got a small vessel shop, stainless steel vessel shop. So when I was in class 8, my father told me, Ma is small ones we call in Tamil, you know. So he said, Ma, we have something in our shop. I've just got something in our shop. Getting it, I was so curious to see, Appa, what is that? So he told me, come, I'll show you. So I went there. When I went there, I was taken aback. You know, what did he show me? He showed me something called the roti maker. Chapati maker. Because in South, we don't make chapatis. Our chapati will be like world map. Are you getting? We make good dosa. But chapatis, you know, chapati is best made where? We call it as chapati, you call it as roti. So that's called the roti maker. Are you getting? So the dough, you just put the flour, you put water, you put some salt. The machine will make the dough. Here I see people are like, tuck, 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 they make dough. We are like, what are you doing? Are you getting? They roll, it's perfect circle. Are you getting it? I make chapati, still it's a world map only. Are you getting? Still I roll, it's fat. When I eat, it's like it's paining, it's like a rubber. Culture. Are you getting with dosa? I make it perfect. Circumference and all will be pitch perfect. Are you getting? Dosa will be crispy. Why? Culture. It's culture. But in North I saw. So in my class 8, I was like, Appa, chapati maker, roti maker. Why? He said, yeah, here people do not know to make a roti. So what happened? Life becomes easy. So you do everything. It will give you all that circle. You have to just take it and put it in the tawa. Your roti done. But though we don't eat it that much, but don't you think life becomes easy? But at that time I didn't know. I was like, what is Appa doing? But in our shop, when he started keeping that machine, everyone started buying it. Everyone. But dosa maker, no one bought. So we have to transport dosa maker to Bombay and Delhi. And we have to take chapati maker from Bombay and Delhi. So don't you think why? Culturally, North and South is different. Culturally, we are different, right? Though we all are together. So this is what I'm trying to make you understand. Necessity is the mother of invention. If you go to Saravanabavan Hotel, they'll have something called the vada maker. All vadas will be in same size. Have you seen? Initially, vada, we make it in hand. We make it in hand, the whole. Then one will be small, one will be big. Have you seen? That's all in different shapes and sizes. But when you go to pure, typical hotel or a restaurant, you see everything will be same. See, that's a business. Why? They have a vessel, they have a machine. I call that as a machine. So they make it. Why? Necessity. Are you getting? So everything we have something called what? An instrument coming up. That's what engineers. Are you getting? You are creators. They create something. Totally lots of machines are coming. Tiny ones are coming for each and everything. So the scissor is a machine. Because the blades are connected with what? Nut and bolt. So according to a scissor is a machine. I want to cut this. So what to do? Initially what I'll do? So now I cut it. I tear it. So then what do? I fold it. There's a sewing machine. I stitch it. Initially, how do I stitch? Thread, hand, do how long? How long? One person will take 1 week to make a garment. Now, one machine is making 100 garments in 1 hour. So which is faster? Machine is faster. Which good is expensive? Handmade or machine made? Handmade is expensive. The embroidery work, everything what handmade is expensive. Why? Because hands take time. Hands need time. Brain wants what? Some creativeness. But machine doesn't know your operator is a male or female. Are you getting it? You just press the button, machine will run. So machine will not know whether it's a man is pressing it or a kid is pressing it. That's why child labor entered. Because you tell a kid, every 5 minutes you press this button, kid will do it. So are you getting? So children were also employed in the factory. Because why? Life becomes easier for the capitalism. What is the main motive of capitalism? Profit earning. I'm just bothered about my profit. You just come to work and you do. I'm not bothered about anything. Because why? Capitalism gives what? Wages. We've never written salary. Are you getting? I made you to write wages. Why? You get wages for your work. And wages are given what? Daily or weekly? It's not monthly. Monthly means it's a salaried class. So all these are coming. This is what I say, necessity is a mother of invention. So where are you? You get a particular machine according to your convenience, according to your life. Now what did Britain wanted? Britain wanted lots of machines. She thought that she will create machine. So revolution took place. The first revolution took place in the field of cotton. Cotton. First thing what Britain did was cotton only. As I told you a small story. You go to the cotton field, I pluck cotton, I separate it, I make threads, I make a garment, it will take time. And there was a place called Manchester. Getting in Manchester, I'll make you look at in the atlas. So Manchester, the place where, Britain produced cotton. And that is why, we always relate. Manchester of India, Manchester of South India. Have you heard? We use all those terms. Why? Because the cities are connected with what? Connected with the cotton cities are predominantly connected with the British city called Manchester. So likewise, Britain started doing it. So what happened? There was a shift. See, first thing, what is revolution? If I teach you the term revolution, see, it's a very, it's revolution. It generally associated with what? Political. It is economic. It could be social change. So what is revolution? An advanced change. You want something to completely change. Are you getting it? That process may be tedious. The process may be difficult. Are you getting it? You have something here. You want to come here. This is the start. This is the end. So I want to achieve something in the end, and this is the process. So the process would be very tough. That's what we say. The start, the end, the means. So the means might be tough, but it will take time. And this process would be what? Gradual only. It's not like today, tomorrow. It'll take lots of time to actually move. So revolution can be of two types. One is, we say, a bloodshed revolution, blood. All political revolutions are involving what? Involve blood. French Revolution, American Revolution, Chinese Revolution, Russian Revolution, they were all political. So political revolution involves violent activity, which involves blood, a war, an attack, a massacre. All will happen in a political revolution. But industrial revolution is not a political revolution. Industrial revolution is an economic revolution. Are you getting it? That is why we say it is bloodless. It doesn't involve blood. It is just an economic revolution. And that is what we call IR is nothing but it is an organized change. So I told you change. It's an organized change. And what is that organized change? We call it here. That is from agriculture to industry, from rural to urban. So I shift from small scale to large scale. I shift from cottage to, again, industries I've written, I'll put here as factories. Getting it? So from hand to machine. So this is what I've drawn, the curve. It is slow. It's not fast. It's not like today, tomorrow. This shift is what? Are you getting it? It was peaceful. You need to understand it was peaceful. It was not violent. Can you give me one example? Did India have a revolution? Yes, what is that? Milk revolution, green revolution. So getting it, we had green revolution, you'll do it. Once you start your modern and post-independence, you'll do. With the period of Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi, you'll be touching it. So economics, your economics, when you study your economics, you'll touch green revolution there. When you study your history, you'll touch green revolution there. Geographically, you'll go with green revolution. So one topic, we have different angles to study. You can't just mug up green revolution. Economics have a different term. Polity, it's got a different term. History has got a different term. Like urbanization, sociologically, people do urbanization in a different way. Geography, urbanization is seen in a different way. Historically, urbanization is different. Different in the sense the concepts are all different. But you club all of them together, that becomes a big ball called urbanization. So what happened? It took time. So green revolution. But don't you think, what is that green revolution? In one point, what can you tell me? What happened? What happened in one point? What was the change? Yeah, production became more. High yielding seeds started coming. Everything was slow. So Shastri wanted things to be faster. And you wanted it to be faster. And you wanted that to be in an organized way. And you wanted that to be long lasting. Revolution will always be long lasting. Impact. The impact will always be felt. So that is why I want more milk production. More milk production. India is the country which has got lots of buffaloes. Are you getting it? We have lots of buffaloes. So our milk production could be more. Could be. So what happened? What revolution entered? White revolution entered. Have you heard the blue revolution? Getting it, must see blue. So we give colors, but just to identify with the occupation. So likewise, we have pink revolution, orange revolution. World has got lots of colors, revolution. Life is colorful. Getting it, all these revolution based on economy. But political revolution will involve blood. So IR is not a political revolution. It's an economic revolution. So from the medieval world, which was moving on with agriculture, with Renaissance, with Age of Reason, with geographical discovery, man started thinking. And when will first man start thinking? When a man is educated, he will start thinking. This education, he gets it from a teacher, or he gets it from a scholar, or he gets it from a philosopher. That is why, see, in those days, philosophers were all teachers. Today only we differentiate. I'm a teacher, you're a philosopher. Anyone who creates and gives some concepts, we call them as a philosopher. Sophist, philosophers, scholars, getting it? So this is what happened. They started thinking. And when do you start thinking? When you are aware. Don't you think when you're politically aware, when you're economically aware, you'll start thinking. Don't you think there are some scholars, say for example, I always tell this, Akbar was an illiterate. You all know that Akbar was an illiterate, pure illiterate, getting it? But the reforms of Akbar doesn't look like as if he was an illiterate. They were all stunning reforms. Akbar's entire period, you can never see or you can never get an iota of doubt that if a newcomer who learns Akbar will think that and believe that Akbar was an illiterate. But we all know that Akbar was an illiterate. So don't you think at times education is also not necessary for development? Akbar, Hyder Ali, have you heard Hyder Ali? Tipu Sultan's father. Hyder was an illiterate. But the reforms what Hyder introduced at Mysore, which paved way for Tipu to reform. Are you getting it? The bedrock was Hyder's thought only. Which means what? I always say Hyder and Akbar as a best example for illiteracy and how, they were not educated, but they were exposed. From childhood, they know everything. Akbar became the ruler at 13 and a half. 13 and a half. If I round it, I can say 14 years. But I always go with the exact year. Akbar became the ruler of Hindustan in 13 and a half years of age. And imagine, and Akbar died. 49 years of rule he ruled. And imagine that 49 years what Akbar ruled India. Imagine a child ruling, he died as a man. He'll know everything, right? Because everything he know from the scratch. He's seen all ups and downs from scratch. For Akbar, education was not required. He was just going on with what? Exposure, the knowledge what he gained from his experience. So this is what started coming up here initially. Because the whole nation was not educated. Initially in the medieval world, people were just trying to learn. Some got educated, some were uneducated. But are you getting it? But this uneducated class started producing more. The educated class started supporting this producing more class. So automatically, don't you think both will come together and a development will take place? That is what took place here. So to operate a button, I need not want an education. But to create that button, are you getting it? So there are two set of class. Everything, everything took place at Britain. So this is the shift here. That's why many historians say, do not call IR as revolution. They say that call this as what? Call it as evolution. So many scholars say it is industrial evolution. It's not industrial revolution. But any organized change, politically, economically, socially, we call it as a revolution only. So that is why we are using the heading as revolution. Because why? Don't think that, ma'am, you said revolution, fights will come. No, nothing. Economic revolution will never have fights. Economic revolution is not violent. Economic revolution is bloodless. So this is what exactly happened. Now, don't you think, if for industries to be formed, because it's industrial revolution, for its age of machine. And for machines, don't you think, the first element to create machines, what do you want, ma? You need capital. A country needs money. A country needs money for creating a machine. The second thing, the country needs what? Brain. I write it brain, but you're not supposed to write brain. Intellectual thing, that's what. I'm making you understand, so I put it. You need brain. So we call them as what? Inventors. So that you need inventors to create a machine, right? If a country has got money, the money the country can give it to the scholars, telling incentive. So automatically what happened? The inventors create a machine. Then the third one, once a machine is introduced, what do you want? You need a time to operate it. When to do it? At times, don't you think, we'll have everything, but we'll not have the right time. We'll not have, you want to say something to someone. For years or months, you would keep it inside, but you'll not get the time to tell that. Hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. Are you getting? We want the time. Are you getting? Let it be personal, let it be professional. We at times wait for the proper time. I have all of them, but when to start? Indians, we always have a starting problem. Are you getting? We want a particular date, we want a particular time, Ashtami, Navami, this, that, good day, bad day, this day, that day. We always go on with that. So a country also, you put lots of investment, you created a machine, you have money, but when to start? The time. The time exactly fell and came to Britain only. That is why everything was appropriately working where? In Britain. So why Britain? She had the time. She had the capital. She had inventors. She had the best for all. What all industrial revolution required. Which country had it all? Britain had it all. I'm getting it? So you need time. So all these. And finally, you need what? Markets. Because I'll produce from the machine. Where will I send the goods to? Because in imperialism you've written, The aim is what? Market. You need profit earning. I have to put it to my market. And once I get market, don't you think again, once I make market, again I'll get capital. With that capital, I'll again invest in the brain. Again with the brain, I'll take some time. And automatically what happened? Markets. So eventually, don't you think this will be fading away? Initially, we'll start with the time. But later when things are big, we'll not bother time. All time is good time. We alter it accordingly. Every day is a good day. Every number is a good number. Everyone. So eventually, this time will move away and capital, inventors and markets will come. Again, it's a circle. You get more money, again you invest. You had 1 factory, 2 factory, now you'll make it 4. 4 will become 40. 40 will become 400. So don't you think you're creating a big opportunity? So this gradually enters. So this is the shift which took place during this period. So the first one which emerged in Industrial Revolution was cotton. That's what I told you. In 1763, see we have some facts to write. We need to write some fact. In 1763, there was a person called, 1733, 33. We are going much before that. Because I told you nothing is exactly in 1750, nothing will start. The first machine to be introduced was the flying shuttle. And the inventor who invented it was called John Kay. Johnkay. John Kay invented a machine called the flying shuttle. What will this machine do? It's a very small machine. Now what happened? I will go to the field. I will pluck cotton from my hand. Getting it? I will pluck cotton. I will put it in a truck. I will take it to the factory or the place. Now in that place, now what will I do? I will get all the cotton. I will give all the cotton to the workers. The workers will separate it. They will separate the cotton and the seed. They will separate it and they will take this cotton and they will put it in this flying shuttle. Once you put the cotton in the flying shuttle, press the button, this machine will give you threads. This machine will give you threads. And these threads will be little bit thicker. Not like a thread what I made it in hand before. So this machine will give me thread. So I got a fine course of thread. So initially now what happened? Machine is giving me thread. After I take all the thread, don't you think I will put it in the spinning yard? I will start spinning. Then I will do it in my hand. I will weave. Then after weaving, I'll get a cloth. Then I do what? I cut the cloth. I stitch in my own hand with needle and thread. I make a garment. This was the process. Only one machine was there called flying shuttle. Later, there was another person. He thought, why can't I create a machine for spinning? So he invented a machine called the spinning wheel. So automatically what happened? After the flying shuttle, now I'll take the thread. I will put it in the spinning wheel. It will start spinning. Now the next inventor is thinking, why can't I make a machine for weaving? So automatically what happened? The automatic loom entered. So when you put the thread there, the cloth would be weaved. So don't you think 3 machines are there? The next person is thinking, no, why would I go, take one, put it here, then take this, put it there, then take it by my hand, put it there. Why can't I combine all the 3 and make one machine? Have you heard one washing machine? Initially, the first washing machine which was introduced in the world, you have to pour water. You have to pour water. Getting it? You have to put the clothes. You have to put the detergent. You have to press the button. Then the washing machine will wash the clothes. Then you have to press the button, it will rinse. You have to press another button, it will spin. Then you have to take the cloth, put it in a separate box called the dryer. Then you have to press the button, the cloth would be dried. Have you heard it? The old pattern. Then you have to take it, drain all the water by yourself. Then you have to take it, you have to dry it. This is what was a washing machine. Then later what happened? Today, you just put the detergent, you put the cloth, it's full load. You just press the button only. The machine does everything by itself. But the same machine what we have today was not there initially. Are you getting it? But don't you think today also people don't have, we call it semi-automatic, automatic, getting it? But tomorrow we don't know. Some machine would come. You just put your cloth. The machine itself will make the detergent. The machine will spin, wash, dry. Even it will iron and give. We don't know. Tomorrow they'll have a separate compartment, they'll iron and give, or maybe robots will come and carry it and put it in your shelf or give it to you. We don't know life. Why? Because machines make life easier. Now I need not squeeze, I need not rinse my clothes. The machine does it. So initially have you seen? You want to grind something, you take a grinding stone, you grind. Now I have sharp blades. I press the button, mixie. So this is what, so I told you about the dosa maker and the vada maker. Necessity is the mother of invention. So people started thinking the first element where machines entered was in the field of cotton. So flying shuttle, spinning jenny, automatic loom. So there was one person called Elias Howe. He thought that, no, why to do all this tedious job? Now what happened? He invented a machine called the cotton gin. You know what that machine will do? You just go pluck the cotton from the field and you put the cotton in that machine. The machine will separate the seed and the fiber. So now you need not separate. Don't you think it's difficult to separate the seed and the fiber from hand? Now you put it, a machine will do. Now what will I do? I will put it in the cotton gin. The machine will separate it. Then I take it and put it in that one machine. It will do all the spinning weaving by itself. Then later a person invented sewing machine. He started making a sewing machine. So I insert a thread. I will start stitching. Life becomes easier. So what happened? Multiple garments were made. So the first revolution was made in the field of what? Cotton. That is why we always say there's a quote. Whoever says industrial revolution says cotton. Are you getting? Whoever says IR says cotton. Why? Because which is the first thing which entered with IR? Which object? Cotton. So what happened? When the field of cotton, people started developing like anything. Manchester became the hub of cotton textile. So are you getting? And British cotton was priced high. Since she started making lots of cotton garment, she started selling it in the market. And there was a demand in the market because Europe was only buying stitched clothes, handmade clothes, which was very, very expensive. And the thread which they wore, the cloth which they wore was very thick. Are you getting? Have you heard? You might have heard, once you do modern day, you'll know. Khadi. Khadi was very difficult to wear in those times. Khadi used to cut your neck when you wear khadi because khadi was not fine-tuned then. It will be very difficult to carry khadi. Are you getting it? Gandhi used to tell Charka, spin your own clothes. You have to make. That is self-reliant. Sarvodaya. You have to be what? Reliant. Atma Shakti. Do everything. You do everything by yourself. That is one Gandhian way. But initially, khadi was expensive. The boycott, the Swadeshi boycott movement. Are you getting it? This British clothes only came to India. So because why? The goods were very cheap. 10 rupee, I buy 7 clothes. But to buy khadi, I have to sell my kidney. Are you getting? Khadi was very expensive. I hope you know. It is also. You buy a khadi, are you getting? It is expensive. Why? Because the quality of the cotton, the way, the time it takes to make it, are you getting it? And the durability of that cotton, because it's durable. So are you getting it? So this is what, when Indians were asked to boycott this British goods, particularly cotton clothes, many small, peasants and common people were telling, if I boycott this good, what will I wear? Because I don't have money to buy khadi. So that is what the next moment came. You start making your own clothes. Take some time to do everything. So that is called Atma Shakti. That came up with the Swadeshi boycott movement gradually. So this all slowly, this is the effect of India. When you do modern Indian history, you will connect it because already I would have completed your world history. So you will start modern. So you will start connecting. Oh, ma'am said this. So that is why this is happening in India. You will start connecting it by yourself. So this all started coming. So revolution took a very good phase in cotton. Now the next one, where was industrial revolution born? Industrial revolution was born in a country called Britain. So now why in Britain? Are you getting it? So why in Britain? If you look at Europe map, the first thing is Britain because of its geography. Getting it? Could you take your atlas? Yeah, take your atlas. Take the map of Europe, political map of Europe. Take it. Bring your own atlas so that you'll get an idea. I hope it's visible. You have your atlas, just because history of the world is history of Europe, is history of world. I keep on telling you that as well. So European history is world history. So this is a political map of Europe. Now our concentration is Britain. I'll tell you, why do we call Great Britain? What is UK? What is England? What is London? I'll just brief you, but listen. This is Europe. Getting it? Could you see Britain? Here. London? You locate it in your atlas. London? Could you see? This is the United Kingdom. I'll teach you this separately. So this Britain is here. She is called as the mother country. She is the mother of Europe. Getting it? Now look at Britain. When you come down from Britain, you have France. Getting it? Right hand side of France, you have Germany. Below France, you have Italy. So France, Britain, France, Germany, Italy. Then when you come down from France, you have a country called Spain. And near Spain, you have a country called Portugal. We wrote it. Geographical Discoveries, Henry the Navigator, they all were from Portugal. Vasco da Gama was from Lisbon. Christopher Columbus, they all sailed from here only. Getting it? So this Portugal, this is the Atlantic Ocean. Getting it? So they are on the borders of the sea. So they were very strong, powerful countries. Today, Spain and Portugal might be different, but then they were very strong. So if you look at this, this is the Mediterranean Sea, where Italy is dominating the Mediterranean Sea. Then leave this. This I'll touch it later. Just know France, Germany, Italy. Then there's a country called Austria-Hungary. I'll touch this once we touch Europe. So now this Britain, this is where, Industrial Revolution was born. So why in Britain? Why in Britain? The first point, why? Why not in France? Why not in Germany? Why not in other places? The first reason why in Britain is because of its geography. Could you see Britain is an island? She's an island. European, this is Europe. She's an island. There is a channel called the English Channel, which is running here. So English Channel divides her and makes her as an island. So she is isolated from the mainland of Europe. So see, France and Germany are border. They're touching each other. Between France and Germany, you have a country called Belgium. Could you see that? Belgium, a very tiny country. Above Belgium, you have a country called Netherlands. So they're all tiny, tiny ones are all here. It is compact. Imagine the countries are all compact. But look at Britain, nothing. She's in her own world. All wars took place in Europe. All wars in Europe took place here only. No battles took place here. Madam will come down to fight. She will not allow anyone to fight here. So she was always safe. But she'll come down, she'll destroy Paris. They will fight in Frankfurt. They will fight in Bonn. They will fight in Amsterdam. They will fight in Brussels. They will fight in Warsaw. Are you getting it? They will fight in Budapest, Vienna. They will fight here. The theater of war. What is theater? The place where the war takes place will be Europe. But the theater of war was never Britain. No one would enter here. Why? Because the English Channel was difficult to cross. So can we say her geography was one of the reasons to have a policy of isolation? And no one would know what's happening here. If you do something here, all countries will know because they're all compact. So the first reason why Industrial Revolution was born in Britain is geography. Because she's an island, she's got a longest coastline. Are you getting it? Longest coastline, and she's got English Channel. She can take water energy from her island. Because being an island, where does she takes energy from? The water. So she is developing her water energy. I told you scientific temperament, physics, chemistry, navigation, geography, all developed. So the engineers and the scientists are thinking that you can take energy from water. So they're getting to know that knowledge with discovery. And she's got a big source of water. So she's taking all energy from water. And she's naturally a strong monarchy. So what's the second point? Why in Britain? Britain was a strong country. Politically, she was very strong. Why? She had a strong absolute monarchy. What is absolute monarchy? The king is everything. All in the hands of king. Whatever the king speaks become law. The king had unlimited powers. Getting it? And this king was controlled by a parliament. Britain had a parliamentary form of government. Because much before when you go, in 1688, there was something called the Glorious Revolution. Getting in my revolution, 1688. It's not there in our syllabus. And this revolution created, or aftermath of the revolution is where Britain thought that a king, a monarch would rule, a crown. Under the monarch, there will be a system called the parliamentary system. And this parliament had two houses, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. So this parliament was a body of educated class. So they will support the government to run. So the king will be on the top. Have you heard this statement? The king is dead. Long live the king. Have you heard it? So the first reason, geography. The second reason, absolute monarchy. Because Britain had what? A monarchy. You need not write. First listen. So there is a phrase called the king is dead. The king is dead, long live the king. This is the very popular phrase of Britain. So what do they mean here? The king is dead. This king is the person. The person, individual. Elizabeth died. The king is dead. Long live the king. This is the institution. This is the throne. So let the throne live. Persons come, persons go. People come, people die. King would be there, queen would be there. As an individual, she or he would die. But the institution will live long. So are you getting, that's a phrase. Which means what? Whatever happens, what will survive? Monarchy will survive there. And respect for the monarchy was always there with the Britisher. A Britisher had one thing in his blood. The king is everything. Come what may, king. You ask them, they will never give up on their king. They will never pull the monarchy down. They always want their monarchy to be high. They will always support. So people supporting the monarch supporting the people. So how will the political system of Britain be? Very strong. Getting that is why we say the second reason. Now you may get a doubt. Why not Germany? Why not France? France never had a strong monarchy now. After Louis XIV, France never had a strong monarch. Weak monarchs were there. Germany never had a strong monarch. All the other countries had weak monarchy. So that is why Industrial Revolution was not born there. Why Industrial Revolution not born in other country? Because all other countries were a part of European continent. Britain was aloof. Britain was isolated. So that was one reason. We call this as a second reason why in Britain. The third reason why Industrial Revolution was born in Britain, she was naturally a rich country. She was blessed with natural resources. Why? Because Britain had plenty of coal and iron deposits. So she had, you can club it. Are you getting it? You can put this point as what? Britain was blessed with lots of natural resources. And don't you think for machines to run, you need coal in those days? So she herself had lots of coal and she had iron. So what is the beauty of iron? In history, iron, we call it as a revolution. Anyone who's got iron would be a superpower. Why? With iron, you make weapons. With iron, you make what? Machines. Wooden machine, iron machine, which is durable. Iron machines are durable. So iron, you make iron chariots. Are you getting it? You make iron weapon. You make iron plowshare. So when you may have a wooden plowshare, you have an iron plowshare, which will give you more production. Iron, deep digging. Are you getting it? Iron plowshare can go deep. So production doubles with iron. And Britain was naturally blessed with iron deposits. So how will our army be? Are you getting it? She'll have lots of daggers, sword, lancers, all great war equipments she possessed. And when a country is strong in military, who will fight with her? No one fought with her. So Britain was naturally a blessed country with what? She possessed rich resources by herself. Rich country in concept of what? Wealth also. If you take Europe, she was one of the rich country. So that was one of the reasons. Then she was blessed with coal and iron deposits. And naturally, Britain was a Protestant country. Protestant country. So Britain initially, I told you yesterday, Christianity got divided into two as Catholic religion and Protestantism. So the reformers who protested against the orthodoxy of Pope, are you getting it? Under Martin Luther, they were called as Protestants. See, Catholic religion believed in what? Orthodoxy. I'm not teaching today. Then. So if you ask Catholics, why is it raining then? They would say it's because of Jesus. If you ask a Protestant, why is it raining? He or she would say, it's because of a scientific element. So Protestantism encouraged scientific temperament. Catholic religion discouraged science. Science gives you an output. Science gives you answer. Science gives you everything. Are you getting it? That's why we say scientific inquiry. So that was encouraged by with religion, Protestant religion. Initially, Britain was a Catholic nation, but later she got to know that Catholicism is not allowing her to grow. So naturally, she declared herself to be what? A Protestant nation. So this Protestant element of Britain made her to encourage more. So she started pushing her people to discover more, find more, think more, give output more, and scientific inquiry was encouraged. So can we say religion plays one of an important role? Religion should never crush you. Religion should always make you to grow or attempts outgrow. That's what Britain always says. Religion is a part of man. Religion is not a main element of a human. It's a part. It should be a part. Religion should support you. Religion should not destroy you. So Protestantism was one of the reasons. And the sixth reason here, Britain had lots of colonies. Can you tell me how many colonies she had? Any idea? Approximately? 14. Approximately Britain had how many colonies? 300 plus. Getting it? Imagine, will she not be rich? Will she not be big? Will she not have everything? And she controlled all of them, directly or indirectly, either politically, economically, militarily, or cultural hegemony. So all of them were under her control, and she exploited all of them. She had two big colonies. One was America, one was India. So naturally what happened? And she had one colony in what? The West. Western world, America. She had one in East, Asia, India. So extreme two sides of the globe. She had two big colonies, and that is why she always has a slogan. Says that the sun never sets in our empire. So the British Empire, sun never sets. America is here, this side, her colony. India, this side. Sun rises here. Sun will set here, but sun has rised here. When sun is rising here, it sets. When sun is rising here, it sets. So which means in British Empire, sun will never. See how beautifully she's made. You can't exactly say, no, here it sets, na? At one side it's awake, right? So that's her way. So that is what she always takes a pride, telling that the entire globe tasted British imperialism. Directly or indirectly, she went everywhere. And she'll go. You don't call her, she'll go. She'll naturally go because that hunt for colonies was her trait. She was like that only. So colonies supported her industry. And what will colonies give? Colonies would give raw material. Colonies, see, when she controlled Africa, Africa gave her gold. Getting it? The entire gold and diamond reserves directly went into the control of Britain. India, we know, she took all her wealth. Are you getting? She took her brain also. Brain drain also took place. Getting everywhere. And America was also naturally a blessed country. So Britain took all sources from America as well. So it gave her raw material. And what will the second thing colonies will give? Colonies will give markets. So all the finished goods will be transported where? To the colony. So cheap raw material, high finished good. Are you getting it? So automatically she'll become what? Rich country. Her capital formation will always be there. India never had a capital formation during Britishers. She didn't allow us to form a capital. But Britain had big amount of capital formation. Because why? Inflow, outflow. Inflow, outflow. So there was an economic boom for her. So this is also one reason why Britain, by Industrial Revolution, was born in Britain. The next one, she naturally had what? Skilled laborers. Britain had a very big amount of population. If you look at London, than all the other cities, London was overpopulated during Industrial Revolution. So what happened naturally? This population, I need to generate income for them. So how do I generate income for them? I make them to work. So I give them what? Employment opportunity. So naturally, when a government is giving employment opportunity, a government job, private job, which one you want? Government job. Everyone prefers to be. Why? Because government job gives you some surety, it gives you some stability, you get some permanency, and your life is secured. That's what all Indian parents say. Are you getting? In Tamil, there's a proverb. Arakasanalu arasanga udyogam. Even if you get half an hour, get a government job. You get 1 lakh, half an hour. Old parents will say half an hour, surety, security, permanency, pension, life is over. Imagine half an hour. Half an hour was very big then. Are you getting it? So that's why, because that public work culture is something very important. So she generated employment opportunity for all. And all these laborers turned into skilled laborers. When they become skilled, automatically what will develop? What will develop? Industrial revolution will develop. The 7th point, why in Britain, is education. Britain had the best education pattern. The first school established in Britain was the Harvard School, 1636. The year is 1750, but even in 1636, 1686, 1693, Harvard School became Harvard College, became Harvard University. Later, Oxford. Are you getting it? Later, the Mary College, the Brown College, the William College, all these educational centers became great in Britain. Students from Europe used to enroll here and study. Even today, are you getting it? And British education was giving more importance to what? Science. Scientific inquiry and temperament was given important. So all people who wanted to learn physics, chemistry, mathematics, science, geography, they all took admission where? In British schools and colleges and university. What was Europe doing? Europe was teaching philosophy. You want to learn philosophy? Go to Greece. Go to Italy. They will teach you. My life is full of suffering. There they'll be making a boat. Here we'll be writing life is full of suffering. Human nature is this. Are you getting it? Greek philosophy? Getting it? It's talking about what? State. It's talking about what? Human nature. It's talking about what? Some theories in life which you understand, you don't understand. I'm not blaming philosophy. But philosophies don't give you an output. But science gives you everything. So once they're developing, so automatically what happened? The best education was given. With this, automatically, great inventors were born. All great inventors were born. I told you, the first inventor I told you, John Kay. John Kay was a Brit. Then we have Samuel Crompton, the Crompton fans. So we have a person called Samuel Crompton. Then we have what? James Watt. Steam engine? James Watt, that's the second sector. Then we have what? Elias Howe, Richard Arkwright. There are many names. We're going to learn all the names. So they all were born here in Britain only. Getting it? In a way, they contributed for what? For the development of the machine. So these inventors were allowed to take a patent also. So don't you think then patent rights will come? So they started to patent their invention. So automatically what happened? Britain started encouraging them to produce more. So that is what I told you, like the washing machine. One inventor might have created a normal washing machine. The other inventor will come and work on the same washing machine. He will make it as a full load washing machine. The next one will come and work on the same machine. Though it is patented, are you getting it? An understanding was here where, so machines started doubling, machines started getting improved, machines started developing in a faster speed. Because ultimately, don't you think speed is something important? Because why machines? Why do we rely on machine? Hands do everything in a slower pace. Machines make life faster. And life is getting faster. So speed is something important. So automatically what happened? Everyone started working on that. So how? Inventor. Why inventor? Education. Why education? Monarchy. So everything is linked, don't you think? She had everything. That's what, that's what we have a scholar telling that Britain had everything for a revolution to be born. She had everything. What did she not have? For an industrial revolution to be born, she had everything, plus she had the time. Time also worked for her. So automatically what happened? Industrial revolution started to boom. So gradually when all these started moving, industrial revolution was born. And which year we record as the year of industrial revolution? We take the year 1750. This is the year we take. So first one, reason. Background. The second one, why in Britain. The third one, which phase did they happen to have revolution? As I told you, the first one in cotton. So we have to write all of them in a structured way. Introduction, reasons for industrial revolution, why in Britain, then we have revolution in the field of cotton. I've not taught you the other three. First, IR was only with 4. Cotton, getting it, getting power, steam engine will come here, then transport and communication, then we'll move on to other part, transport and communication. So slowly these 4 fields started developing, then we have the impact. So once you thorough this one topic with these 4 subheading, UPC can ask, let them ask anything from this topic, you will be thorough with all of. Beyond this, they don't go anywhere. The syllabus is very clear. It's precise, it's concise, it's very much crisp. They've given it. So beyond this, they're not going to ask you. That's what I told you. If you don't study with a teacher, you will not know what to study here. If you take any books of world history from the market, it's big. It's big. We are going to customize it small. We are going to write it according to our exam, and we are going to alter what we've written according to the demand of the question. Whatever they ask in this part, you're going to alter the class notes accordingly, and you're going to write. So this is what is about IR. So this topic will be like that. So ma'am, you told stories. So all those will come with the second topic. Beautiful, fascinating, interesting stories will come with American Revolution, French Revolution, then it's all stories, factual stories. But this is a kind of a concept. It will be like a theory based. The first topic only will be like that. The moment we cross this, till Cold War, it will be full of, lots of informations loaded, and it will be interesting, and ultimately it's to clear the exam. So getting an idea of IR, how it worked. So I stop here for today. We will start writing it tomorrow. Get an idea. So today there's nothing for you to read. There's nothing, just read the background or get a very normal idea. Yeah? Yes.
Ma'am, instead of reusing absolute monarchy.
Who's that?
Ma'am.
Yeah. You? No, someone was talking here. Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a confusion with absolute monarchy.
Come again?
I have a confusion with absolute monarchy.
Absolute monarchy.
We use constitutional monarchy instead of absolute
No. Constitutional monarchy, it became powerful later. Initially, we are going with the beginning part. After 1688, we had the concept of parliamentary form of government coming. Parliament controlling the crown. But who was on the top? The crown was on the top. All the political ideas emerged with the crown, sanctioned by the parliament. So first will be strong monarchy or royal absolutism, followed by the constitutional monarchy.
Okay.
That comes later.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I will be giving you a particular material to read. Let me go with the topics, then you read. There's no pre-reading required. I don't ask students to read something and come and sit in class. That's why I'm not giving you anything now. So always it goes like, I teach you, then you study. Once the teacher teaches, then you study. That will be better. Yeah? Yeah, the NCRT. I will be referring you a book. You just study that book. So clear? Anything? Any doubts? So, yeah. Thank you, ma. See you all tomorrow.